move. Move. Go. Fuck. Hey, VC here. So we're talking about the Belgian Waffle Ride. This has to be maybe one of the hardest one-day races in the world. I'm not even joking. The type of technical skills you need to ride the gravel is insane. So what am I running? I'm running my road bike, my Princeton Carbon wheels, IRC 28 x-gurad tires. There's nothing gravel about this bike whatsoever. It is my full-on road bike. This is what I ride on the road all the time. And I chose that setup because one, I was comfortable on it. And then two is just, dude, there's 90 miles of road. So I wanted to be fast, right? I wanted to be at the pointy end of this race. I really was looking for top 20. I thought it was possible with the way my fitness was. The right off the bat, dude, it is a fool's gas race to the single track. So the first bit of gravel, the first gravel section is very technical, like mountain bike trails. And everyone's trying to get there first because, you know what I mean? Like the front group could just split instantly. And I don't know, maybe top 60. And I'm trying to like jam around everyone, taking massive risks, going onto the wrong side of the road. Dude, it was crazy. Go. The first little rock section, there was like two guys that double flatted instantly. There was already guys flatting. And so then we're racing, and this is where essentially it's going to start blowing apart because there's just, you know what I mean? There's no room. There's only room for one bike. And everyone was being way more aggressive than I was. I've ridden my road bike off-road and on stuff kind of like this before, so I know that it can handle it. But still, I'm sort of not really knowing what to expect. So there could just be some huge mountain bike jump that I don't know, right? And the dirt was really loose. There was a lot of sections that were super sandy. And so I was just kind of looking at everyone else and thinking, oh my goodness, if they're going fast into this section, I guess I'm going fast. Go. There was a ton of guys getting flats in this very first section. And dude, this Hagens Berman, bro, friggin' flying. Everyone was flying. It was crazy. And so now on my Wahoo, I can see the side profile. So I can see what's coming up, but I don't really know how the terrain is like. And we're just, we're going for it. It was so cool with the bushes and flying through, you know, these like, dude, the elements, it's just so neat, dude. You feel so pro running through this stuff, especially on a full-on road bike. There was guys on road bikes, there was guys on gravel bikes, and then there's guys on like almost mountain bikes, right? And so it really sort of came down to how good of a rider you are, because the road bike is going to be the fastest for sure, but there's so much loose gravel and sand that now that I look back on it, I probably should have gone with a wider tire or at least disc brakes. I fully should have had disc brakes. So we pop out of the first gravel, and I've made almost the front. I mean, you know, it's kind of spread out on the road here, but I'm far forward. You know, I'm probably top 50 right now out of 1,800. So like, sweet. And then we kind of hit this little climb. Phil Guyman gets on the front. And right now, I'm bleeding out of my eyeballs as Phil is bridging me and a few others to the front group. Dude, Phil was on it. He was without him in this section right here, there's no way I'm getting on the front group. But I do, and this is the front group. Welcome to the front group, me. Awesome. And so I'm so stoked, and I'm feeling great. Actually, I'm feeling fantastic. And I didn't get it on film, but we went flying into a dirt section where it was deep sand, and I got cross-threaded, and I friggin' crashed. Oh, honey, take a good picture, I'm dead! It was like beach sand, and everyone was just full gas through it, and the wheel just sort of cross-threaded and then drove me into a bush. And then when I got like off the side of the hill, I was chasing so hard, and I was kind of catching remnants of that front group that were getting blown up. But everyone was full gas in this moment. You know what I mean? The front guys were just hauling balls. So it's a super bummer because I really feel like if I could have stayed with them a little longer, top 20 would have been within the grasp. But dude, I mean, this is like a lot of this, and the GoPro 7 is doing a fantastic job with stabilization. Stuff is, oh, look at that. Look at that guy. Like, the sand was the most difficult part I felt of the trails. My bike handled the rocks no problem, the bumps no problem. But with my skinny tires, and the 28s are not super skinny, but the 28s were just digging into the sand, and I was pretty much losing all control. There was a couple times where I came to a complete stop in the sand, and I actually had to run with the bike, walk the bike through the sand because it was so deep, And I don't know if other people had that situation or had that problem, but I mean, you can see just how friggin' deep some of the sand is. I could see the front group in the distance, and I was going as hard as I could. But I mean, just look at the scenery. I'm on a friggin' road bike, dude, and look what I'm riding through. It's so cool. It was so amazing. We get out of that. We hit the first road climb, which is pretty stout, dude. It's a very steep road climb. And I see all these people, and I'm like, oh, bro, dude, I made it on the front group. Most of these guys were doing the wafer. I was doing the waffle. They were doing the wafer ride, so they're doing a shorter ride. So I was kind of thinking when I was seeing some of these guys, I was like, what the heck, dude? How did you make the front group? But then they turned left, and I was like, crap. So me and a few guys get up and over the crest of this pretty steep climb. I think we got joined by a few, and we kind of ripped down this descent. And it's going to be road for a while now, right? So, but we're still on it. I mean, because there's a group just up the road from us, and it's hard to tell if they're the front group or if they're a group split off from the front. But we were going hard, dude. I really wasn't. I was sucking wheels because I'm like, dude, we have so much longer to go. We have about 100 miles left to ride. So, what is happening? Phil Guyman, he was on this. He was in the group, so we caught a group with Phil in there. He was there. And then we noodled for a couple miles. This was the only time in the race that it was not Full's gas. And so then this is kind of the group going into the next gravel climb, which we just absolutely lit up. I have 80 miles to go, dude. This is crazy. So I lost maybe 3 to 5 minutes on the gravel descent because it was so sandy. I couldn't control my bike. I was unclipped almost the whole time. So on this really big gravel climb, I was just smashing balls to catch the group that I got dropped from on the descent, which was pretty much the story of the day. I'd get dropped in a technical descent, and then I'd claw back on a climb. My fitness was so good. Dude, I was feeling so freaking good the entire time. Always able to put power down, always moving forward. I caught these guys, and there was another group up the way, and I could see the climb was about to end, so I kept going, right? I was like, nah, man, I gotta go. I gotta go. And so I did. I actually bridged to 2 groups. I bridged to that group. Then right before the end of the climb, I was able to give in a pretty good little dig to bridge onto what ended up becoming the second group on the road. It was actually pretty big. So I don't know how big I don't know how the front of the race played. After my crash, I just kept catching people, right? And so I just barely made it onto these guys, right? And so then we get some water.
Mix. Water. God, that's so chaotic.
I'm so grateful that I made it onto this group, because then we were rolling so fast. I mean, look how big this group is. And this is the second group on the road. If I hadn't bridged to them, like a few guys that I had passed didn't get on this, dude, the next bunch of miles is going to be so much slower than, by yourself or with a small group than with this big group. Food wise, I was on top of it. Beta fuel from SIS. That's pretty much what I was drinking. And then also the SIS gels. And I think I had some SIS caffeine shots. Really no solid food during the ride. It was just the liquid gels and the liquid calories, which got me, dude, I felt so good. My stomach had no issues. And on a ride like this, dude, where it's so difficult to bring in calories because everything's so technical, you only have very small windows of opportunity to bring in those calories. So you need to make sure that they're the right calories, I guess, or like that your body's going to accept them. So then we fly down these technical descents, man. I'm a wuss. I'm just a wuss. I'm not a good descender, right? It just is what it is. And so I got friggin' dropped again because I'm so afraid that my front end's going to just tuck in the sand. And so then we hit what is pretty much the last big gravel climb. But I mean, our group was like 30 strong and is now blown apart on this climb. So I've got to put in a pretty good dig to get back up to everyone, which I'm really surprised that my legs were showing up. I mean, it was just every time I asked my legs to put out watts, they said, okay, we will do that. And so I don't know if it's because I was going so slow on the descents, I was fully recovering. I just was so stressed out on the descents. But the gravel, and maybe it's the road bike. Anyone else with a gravel bike has an advantage going downhill. But bro, I'm flying up these hills with this road bike. It was awesome. So then we crest over that, and like the few guys didn't make it on. So our group of 35 dwindled to maybe 8 or 9, with I think 1 or 2 guys that actually ended up getting away from this group. But dude, there's never a time where we're not pretty much racing. I mean, we're full pace line trying to get away from the guys behind us and trying to get up to the guys in front of us. Everyone's working really well. It's just crazy to have such a big race, 133 miles, so much feet of climbing, and to be actively racing so far into the race, if that makes sense. Right? Because like a normal road race, if you've missed the front group, you're not really racing that hard. But dude, top 100 at Belgian Waffle is prestigious. And so a lot of us are trying to, seat our spot there in the top 100. The views, insane, amazing. This descent was fantastic. And so then we hit another bit of gravel. And this section, for whatever reason, I could not hold their wheel at all. I don't know if it was just like the sandy ground. This looks hard, but there was other spots that were really sandy. But man, I felt like I was pushing hard on the pedals, but everyone was just flying away from me. Everyone is able to just have a little bit better bike handling skills, I think. They were taking the turns better. So I was constantly freaking chasing. And just at a certain point, you chase back on, and then you fall off, and you chase back on, you fall off, and you chase back on. Like, how many times can you freaking do that, right? This sand, oh my goodness, man, that was just throwing me for a loop. But that's what I chose. I chose to have a big advantage on the road and the climbs, and then give up the disadvantage for the dirt. But I wasn't expecting the sand. I wasn't expecting how technical this single track and the dirt really was. I mean, dude, to do well here, you have to have all of the skills. You have to have the technical skills and the fitness skills and the endurance skills. That's why this has got to be one of the hardest one-day races in the world because it just encompasses everything as a cyclist. So then we get to this little river crossing, and I try to make it across.
Move, 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 move. Move. Go, go, go. Ow. All right, man, where'd he go?
I apologize to that Fig Mountain guy because, dude, I was so hypoxic. I was so in the hurt box, and I was just trying to not lose anyone's wheel. So I was kind of yelling at him. Not his fault, right? I made it through that river going out without putting my feet down, but I hit like a huge hole. You had to like stay to the left. But either way, I friggin' lost the group's wheel again. So then I'm like chasing and just putting my head down, thinking, how much more friggin' gravel can there be? Little not gravel. I actually do end up catching back onto this group, and so our little second group of 35 is now down to, like I said, 7. But then the trail got so technical, full on mountain bike, bro. And my hands are bleeding because I didn't have gloves. Why I didn't have gloves, I don't know. I'm an idiot. I did not think of that. I mean, friggin' look at this, bro. This is the sharpest rocks. This is so technical, very steep, and I'm on a full road bike, which I probably would run again. My Princeton carbon wheels and my IRC x-gurad tires, the fact that they held up over this terrain just blows my mind. It blows my mind, really. So then we finally get out of, in my mind, the last bit of gravel. I'm like, okay, that was it. And I have blisters all over my hands that are just bleeding. I can barely hold on. Again, why I didn't wear gloves, I don't know. But so I can see on the Wahoo that there's very little riding left. And so let me come into essentially kind of like the last rest stop, I guess, and they like pat stuff on your butt, and I got a Coke.
Water. And a butt slap. You're getting a butt slap.
Water.
You've got one big old hill left to do. Team Dream all the way. Rock and roll. Stretching out, grab some water, grab some feet.
So this gravel, it only lasted a very small period of time, and then we got to a really steep road climb. Very, very steep. I was feeling super good, though. I kept going. Now, these people were doing that wafer, so there's a mix, right? People doing the long ride, people doing the short ride, so you're sort of coming together. But it's hard to tell. But this woman's like, are you serious? I'm supposed to ride this freaking thing? It's so steep. It's so steep. And now, I'm just on the power. I'm in the mode. I'm going. And I actually end up catching some of the guys that had dropped me on that gravel section. And so that was neat. This guy behind me, though, he so strong, dude. He actually caught me. But so then we caught these guys right here. These were the guys that dropped me on the gravel. And then I kept going. I kept catching a few more guys climbing up this very steep, very exposed road. I guess I hadn't really looked at the profile and realized just how steep this freaking end bit is. But man, if you don't have the legs, like, you could crack on this climb and just lose all the time. But I didn't crack. And we made it to the top. Probably one of the more difficult fitness parts of the race was that one last little climb. And so then me and this guy in the green, who just like, his legs look so, the guy looks so fit. I don't know if it's those white socks. I was intimidated by him. I'm intimidated by a lot of people. But so then we hit this very steep little deal up to like the IRC banner. I really wish I had this picture from the guy, like that picture he's taking. Boom, give it to me. I want it. Where is that picture? I want that picture. So then we descend, views, amazing, blowing the mind. I'm thinking we're just going to ride the road all the way back into town. This guy directs me onto friggin' more gravel, bro, and I'm so over gravel at this moment. I don't want to see a friggin' rock ever again. I'm so sick of my arms being battered and my hands being battered and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done. I'm over it. Let's never see gravel again. So then we hit the road, and I'm putting the power down. I catch this guy who caught me on the descent. So it was like everyone would blow by me on the technical descents, and then I'd catch back up on the road. And dude, I powered all the way to the end with the end time of 7 hours and 14 minutes, finishing 40th place, 40th overall, which I'm very, very excited about. Very proud of that. A humongous thank you to SIS, or Science and Sport, for fueling me all day, and to Elio Cycling keeping me super comfy. My balls were on point the whole time. Wahoo, which I had that, without that map, dude, I would have had no clue what was going on. So I'm super stoked on that. Princeton Carbonworks, the wheels, the rims, IRC tires. Bro, it's phenomenal. Canyon is amazing. So, hardest race I've ever done, without a doubt. As always, vegan cyclist. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. That was brutal, bro. That was brutal.
How'd you go?
You got a BWR face now.
Yeah. You got a bottle of tequila back? That was rough, huh?
Dude. I don't know why I didn't bring gloves. That was the stupidest decision ever.
Did you stay upright the whole day?
I crashed.
How'd your setup go? Flat?
No.
Oh, you got a lot of hair in there. Holy shit.
Dude, that was the way to go.
You
I've
have
pitched
to, though, so you
flat
don't pitch.
so many times.
Yeah, it was fast, but dude.